Is the Mac named Morning Show? Is the Mac Man Morning Show? Is the Mac named Morning Show? Is the Mac Man Morning Show? Sitting in home when you're in your car. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? No matter if you get far. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? You better tune in quick or you might just miss. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? The best show this side of the sea. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? 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 Sitting in home when you're in your car. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? No matter if you live far. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? You better tune in quick or you might just miss. The best show this side of the sea. Is the Mac Man Morning Show? 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 Is the Mac Man Morning Show?
And hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Let me say this. Good evening, everybody. This is I Said What I Said on the MacMan Evening Show. Even though we had the MacMan Morning Show music, it's actually our MacMan Evening Show. I would like to welcome everybody to our evening show. It's our very first one, so you guys are gonna have to work with me a little bit because I'm waiting on my co-hosts to come in with me tonight. I'm the only one in the studio right now, and so I'm gonna have to work these boards and I'm gonna have to work this microphone, and so I'm definitely gonna need the help from the moderators. And excuse the banners, but I haven't made any evening banners yet. And just give us a little time, and I'll get everything all together. But tonight, it looks like I've had our moderators. I've already seen your messages, Penelope, and let me see who else put something in the chat. I think it was Penelope said that he was guilty already, and I think Sharon Reed came in the chat and spoke to me earlier. So let me just go ahead and highlight the people that's in the audience right now. Hello, Sharon Reed. How are you doing this afternoon? Hello, Penelope. That's our moderators for tonight, and they're going to be here moderating the chat for me. And let's see who else I have in the chat. Yvonne Moore. Hey, sis Yvonne. And I have Paula Nitz. Look like James has joined the show with me. So thank God for a little help. And I'm still waiting on one more person to come in and do the show with me tonight. Because our social media editor, Ryan, he's going to come on tonight. And he's supposed to help me do this show because he's the one who wanted to talk about this rapper, Lil Durk. And so I've been getting some information about him. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with his situation. And with me, let me just say this. With me doing my research about Lil Durk, I know he's already been committed, and I know he's been charged. And I know that the FBI have a federal charge on him with a murder for hire. And normally when the FBI have a charge, you know how the FBI is. They dot their I's and they cross their T's. Most of the time it's a slam dunk. But I'm not so sure that it's gonna be a slam dunk, and I'm not so sure, that he's totally guilty of this murder for hire plot. Like I said, I've been doing the research, and the way I see it, it is he the one guilty, or is somebody else that's affiliated with him that is possibly guilty? I don't know, but I do know this. We're gonna discuss it tonight. Look like I have my one of my people from the chat. Yvonne Moore is on the panel with us, and look like my co-host is here too, Ryan. So how are you doing today, Ryan? And hello,
Yeah,
Yvonne. You guys go ahead and speak to everybody.
yes, I'm doing pretty good. I was having a few technical difficulties signing in the stream yard, but everything is working properly now.
It's
Uh
okay. All good.
Regarding the Little
Oh, let
Durk
me.
case, man, it's way deeper than it looks because some people will argue that he has nothing to do with it, but with him being the bag winner, the breadwinner, I should say, and in his respective camp, it'll be hard for anyone to believe that he had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
Ryan, I don't, like I said, I'm kind of conflicted with it, and I kind of watch Young Thug's trial, right? And I actually followed it all the way from the beginning into the end. Now, I wasn't there every day on a everyday basis, but I was tuning in, in and out of the show, and even with Young Thug, I noticed that they did the same thing with Lil Durk. Looked like they was trying to use his rap music to try to help convict him. Is that what you understand the situation to be?
Yeah, just about. They're using his rap music to help convict him. They're using credit cards that were
Hmm.
used in the process of the crime.
Yeah. Hold on one
Yeah,
second.
it's just everything.
Somebody, I think Yvonne, maybe you need to go on mute because we hear your TV in the background. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and finish up, Ryan.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that yeah, they basically have them fully connected, and on top of that, despite like the money trail and a paper route and whatnot, they say that there was somebody in his record label who actually told on him that was wearing a wire.
Hmm.
So I honestly don't believe Lil Durk is gonna actually beat these allegations or beat this case. Because I
Hey,
mean
can
it's
one of
just
you all give us
impressive.
the background on what's going on with this guy? Like, what's? Can you give us like a short background of what's happening and why he's in trouble and what happened and what
All
what's
right,
the
so
background?
basically the deal with this rapper is that one, he's a rapper from Chicago. He's been rapping for over 10 years. Uh, I would want to say it all stems from an altercation he had out of town, what one of his artists had out of town, where his artist ended up losing his life. And with the streets being a bug in Dirk's ear, I guess they got him to do something that he shouldn't have done, i.e., getting his revenge for his fallen artist. So he's gone from the street life to making it out of the street life to positivity, and ended up being ultimately pulled back into this street life. So what he ended up
Oh,
doing
okay.
after his artist, whose name is King Von, after he passed away, there was a lot of feuding between Little Dirk's camp, OTF, and somebody else's camp, Quando Rondo. I forget what their record label is called, but yeah, they ended up exchanging gunfire, murder for hire, a whole lot of stuff. Just years and years
Um,
worth of nonsense, and it finally caught up to him.
okay. So basically, it was one of his buddies or something that he did music with got unalive somewhere. Not here in Chicago. I think it was in Las Vegas. I think.
It
I'm
was
not
in
sure.
Atlanta.
It was in Atlanta. Okay, so his buddy got unalive, and that I think that's how all of this started with him, like a retaliation type deal that went down with them.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what went down. Yep, exactly to the T.
And so they plotted to get revenge on the person that unalived his friend and
Yes,
started
but
planning all this.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. But what really ended up happening, instead of them getting the person who allegedly killed his friend, because they're saying that the person who fired the shots wasn't even the people they were arguing with. But the crazy part about the whole thing is when Little Durk paid these hitmen to go do whatever they were supposed to do, they ended up
Allegedly.
killing the wrong person.
Allegedly, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
when he allegedly did that. He haven't been convicted on that yet, though, has he?
yeah, he hasn't been convicted yet, but
Okay,
it's
so it's
like you,
allegedly.
you, we, it's see, you technically have to say allegedly, but if you know, you know. It's like nobody else has that kind of power to get that type of thing done outside of him. He was
Well, Ryan,
literally the
I
superstar.
I understand what you're saying, but here in this good old United States of America now, you're not guilty until you're innocent until proven guilty. So they
Yeah,
haven't
they
found,
say you're innocent until proven guilty, despite
yeah,
you
so
sitting
they
in the jail
haven't.
cell fighting for your innocence.
That's right, but the whole thing about it is they haven't convicted him yet. So we definitely have to say allegedly, and that's really to cover us because we can't. Although the circumstances, we still can't say okay he did this because we don't really know yet because we have to wait for the jury, and we have to wait for the court case and for everything to go down, and then once the jury acquit him or convict him, then that's when we can take the alleged part off. But right now, it has to be allegedly because he haven't been convicted yet. He's only being charged, and a charge is not an indictment. And the reason why I say something like that, Ryan, is because if you look at Young Thug's case, and I know we're not talking about him, but we are, because the cases are very similar, in my opinion. It has gang violence, it has gang affiliation in with it. You have somebody that's unalive that they're trying to put the charge on one person, but at the end of the day you have other people that could possibly be involved, right?
Hmm.
And so when Young Thug went to court, they used his rap lyrics to try to convict him with that. And it was so many mistakes made. The case was it was in such chaos to whereas most of the people was able to plea out, including Thug. And you only have a few of them that because what they start out with probably about 7 or 8 of them that they were trying to indict in this big RICO charge. And now you only have maybe 2 or 3 left that didn't take a plea deal and they're still fighting the case in court. But, Young Thug, he took a plea deal. And so if you take a plea deal, like, you are pleading, he pled that he was sorry for everything that happened. He did plead to some of the charges, but not all of them. And so to me, you know, it just has to be proven in court in order for us to say, yeah, he did this or no, he didn't do that. And so that's why I said that way, Ryan.
Yes, I definitely get it. But one thing about RICO charges, which makes it kind of funny to even give benefit of doubt, is because unlike a regular charge, a RICO indictment can be a bit different because when that occurs, it's almost like they know you did it because they have years of evidence built against you. And in the case of Lil Durk, they also kind of have years of evidence built against this man, proving that he technically had something to do with it. Despite a lot of people not wanting to believe it, I mean that's just how the cookie crumbled with him because he was too reckless. It's like people get to a point in their lives when they touch such power and such riches where they think they're untouchable and they're like far above the program, and that's where you messed up.
Hmm. But you know what? It seemed like the young guys that are coming up in the rap world and everything, and they're doing all of this foolishness. Seemed like they should have took a peep back in history with other rappers that got into craziness like this, like Tupac, that war he had going on with Biggie Smalls and what's the producer's name? Suge Knight. It seemed like they, should take a look back at the history of this and know not to even, you know what I mean, get into divers like that. Like they should learn from uh the legends actually, like Tupac and Biggie Smalls, not to go that route. I mean, it seems like to me like they would learn from them and not even go that route. So it's interesting, and maybe it is the feeling of power that they get, and excuse me, and they get all of this money, and so they think they have power, and if somebody step on my shoes the wrong way or look at me the wrong way, I'm gonna unalive them and all of that craziness. But it's not even worth it because now it's almost like your career is over. You might go to jail, you might lose all your money, all your valuables over what? Over what? I don't even know what they were fighting about. Do you know what they were, had a beef about?
Well, I
Um.
oh, go ahead,
Oh
Ron.
wait,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Stacy. All right.
Well,
Well,
I said what I
I was
said,
gonna.
but
Oh yeah,
what
I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to say, what I wanted, it's okay. What I wanted to say was King Von had some problems himself. Okay, he had financial problems. He had legal problems due to him trying to get vengeance on somebody. He was charged with first degree murder, but he was acquitted in 2017. And then in 2018, he made this platinum record called Crazy Story. And then in 2019, he was being accused of shooting somebody, of shooting, what was his name? Vaughn. Um, well, not Vaughn, but he was accused of shooting. I didn't write the right person's name down, but he was accused of doing the shooting. So Dirk and Vaughn have been friends for a while, from what I researched. But and Dirk also knew that Vaughn had these problems, and he was getting in trouble with him, and he was really trying to pull him in off the streets, from what I understand,
Hmm.
trying to pull him in to try to gear his energy towards making rap music versus, getting into all of this street trouble. But apparently, instead of him, trying to turn this guy around, it seemed like he got caught up in the crossfire himself. Am I telling the story correctly, Ryan?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. And the crazy part about King Von, yeah, I feel like we do kind of need to touch on King Von and who he was
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people can look at King Von in a lot of different lights. The people who he was loved by, they loved him dearly. But the people who were on the other side, they were terrified of the man because King Von allegedly killed quite a few people in his day, and he would brag about it openly in his music.
Ryan, we have to use unalived a lot of people because of
Okay,
YouTube. We don't want our videos striking.
okay, gotcha. Well, King Von allegedly unalived a lot of people in the city, so it's like a build up a bad mojo, really, like about his name. Some people look at King Von like a demon. Some look at him like a savior for what he did to his area. He brought a lot of money back into the Parkway Gardens on 62nd and King Drive. So it was a huge love hate relationship with King Von with a lot of different camps.
Well,
And
didn't
honestly, he
but
used
didn't
to
old
pride
block
himself in all of his wrongdoings, and that's
but did
honestly what
didn't
brought him
old block
down.
gang wasn't old block gang charged with unaliving Vaughn?
No, King Von he's from O Block. Yeah, King Von, he's from
I'm
Atlanta.
confused.
Yeah, he got unalived in Atlanta, messing around
Oh,
with some Crips.
oh,
So what do Quando Rondo have to do with it then? Because it's
right.
saying, yeah, what part do he play? Is he from Atlanta also, Quando is?
Uh, Quando Rondo is from Savannah, Georgia, I believe. But seeing that they're two rappers, and Atlanta is kind of like the hip hop mecca for the United States at the moment. That's really where the culture's residing at in Atlanta. So they both ended up in Atlanta, and they've already had previous discord about women. So that's really what led up to it. King Von sees Quando Rondo in a parking lot of some type of nightclub in Atlanta, and I guess he decides to just walk up and put the hands on him, put the paws on him, and yeah, King not King Von, Quando Rondo's crew, they just weren't having it. They were there for him every step of the way.
Well, I
But
see.
the
Look,
whole
I see you
situation turned
film.
into a giant kerfuffle.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, the whole situation ended up turning into a giant kerfuffle because then by the time King Von and Quando Rondo started to exchange their little fisticuffs, both of their respective camps also started to clash with each other, and that's how a giant hail of gunfire just came out. People were getting injured, a whole lot of stuff. Like it was an ugly situation full of chaos and confusion. That's the sad part about it. It was all chaos and confusion, and it left with people critically wounded, some people dead, and some other people's lives just simply got changed forever because of it.
Right. So
Exactly.
it looks like okay. So like the prosecutors or whatever are looking at a song that he wrote. Uh, some song that he wrote, right? And the song he was referencing, something like he said, told me they got an Addy and to go. So I'm guessing that means they got an address to where this victim was, and he was telling them to go get him or something like that. So the prosecutor seemed to be going off some of his music that he released after this person got unalived.
Exactly.
Hmm.
That's
So
what I was.
you,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's the same thing that they did to Thug. And I mean, I'm conflicted on that because
Mhm.
are these people singing about what they really did, or are they just singing songs? And so, it's an art. Music is an art, and so I do understand that some rappers do brag, in in their songs about the things that they've done, but can you completely say, okay, he did this and he sung about it? I mean, I just me personally, I don't feel like rap music should be pulled into court records. That's just my opinion. And I'm just one little person, but I just don't feel like I don't feel like that's correct to use against somebody. If you got some evidence
Right.
against somebody, bring the evidence, but don't bring my songs. But you guys, let's look at a quick video, um
Hmm.
to give a little background, and then Yvonne, I'll let you finish up as soon as I finish playing this video. How's that sound?
Okay.
It's been 4 years since Chicago rapper FBG Duck was killed, and his mother's pain is still raw.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him.
FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, was gunned down on the Gold Coast by a group of masked men as he waited to enter the Dolce & Gabbana store August of 2020. His girlfriend, Cache Williams, and another man also wounded in the attack. They joined Weekly's mother in filing a lawsuit Wednesday, alleging rap superstar Lil Durk had a hand in the gang-related killing, wanting to take out Weekly. Their years-long rivalry playing out in a series of violent drill rap songs.
Our complainant law lays out that a $100,000 bounty was placed on the life of FBG Duck to have him killed.
The lawsuit names a wide-ranging list of defendants, including Lil Durk, his record label Only the Family, or OTF, and other larger labels that partnered with OTF, like Sony and UMG Interscope. Attorney Roosevelt Allen saying the larger labels welcome artists engaging in criminal activity, putting profit over human life.
They want authenticity, which has bred these type of individuals getting in the music business, carrying out their activities, and the record label companies are fueling it, financing it, developing brands for them.
Earlier this year, 6 purported gang members were convicted of carrying out Weekly's murder. Allen saying with this lawsuit, he hopes others who knowingly promoted violence will be held accountable.
That's where it crosses the line when you take it from the music and you take it to the public and the streets and you kill someone.
We contacted representatives for Lil Durk, Sony, and UMG Interscope Records, but have not received a response.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago.
Man, evil work this drill culture does for the people, man. That's why I hate it.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
let's thank let's
it's
thank let's
terrible.
thank ABC News for that news clip, and you guys can go ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and I think
Appreciate
another
it.
thing that they got, the prosecutors do have, looks like, from what I read a couple of days ago, that they have like text messages that Little Dirk was sending to one of the accomplices saying don't book a flight under any names involved with him. So they have like text messages with him telling one of the, I don't know, alleged shooters, whatever, not to book any flights under any names because he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be caught
Connected.
using, you're right, right, connected using a credit card that was used for OTF. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, they seem to have some kind of evidence, not only just the music. And I do agree with you. Say, I said what I said on that. You just kind of not go by music or lyrics that are written. You got to have concrete evidence, and maybe this text message that he sent is one. Well, some of the evidence that they have that Little Dirk was actually involved with this unalivement. So.
And my whole thing is he the fall guy, because you heard the record labels included in this, Sony and
Mhm.
yeah, you heard the record labels that were included in this. So is he really guilty, or are the record labels trying to throw him under the bus? See, that's the question that I have. And it's real easy to
Mhm.
say, well, he's a gang member. Well, he did this in the past, and it's the same thing with, I just keep referencing thugs. Um,
Mhm.
Court case, because they were trying to convict this guy of stuff that he did in the past that they didn't catch him doing, and they never placed him anywhere near, where the shooting was supposed to happen. And like Ryan said, yeah, he did it. And you can't just say, well, yeah, you did this. Even the popo, they can't just say, yeah, you did this without evidence, because in a court system you got to have evidence. You can't just go by, oh, well, he rapped about this or he talked about this. You got to have witnesses, and you have to have collaboration of people that's saying, I saw him do, you got to have witnesses,
Mhm.
and it's got to be
Mhm.
concrete evidence. It can't be hearsay, and it can't be gossip, and it can't be of what you think it is or what you feeling. You got to have concrete evidence. And so, Ryan, that was the
Mhm.
reason why I raised that question.
Yes, most definitely. But the only thing about that is just you have to take a look at the type of music that drill music is. It's just not like the typical gangster rap. Drill music from Chicago is specifically, and this is crazy to say, it is specifically about telling the things that you've either done or went through personally. And in King
Mhm.
Von's music, which is why if he was still alive to this day, he would have been convicted on the FBG Duck trial, because he spoke about it in his music. Like, these people aren't trying to hide their crimes. That's the problem, and that's kind of what's leading people to actually use their music in the trials. Because, well, okay, let's say for instance, King Von drops a song and he's speaking about some past events and some past rivalries that happened between him and a rival gang member. He's going to say their name, he's going to say what happened to them, he's going to claim the work, which is what actually happened to them, and nothing's going to happen. Now, the thing with FBG Duck, he got on DJ Academic's platform, saying, spewing all type of lies, saying that
Mhm.
him and FBG Duck came to some form of agreement before he passed away. And then he couldn't even keep a straight face while doing it. He was laughing and cackling and giggling in the background like it was just a joke. It's the man was wicked. I'm just gonna keep it a being. The man, he was wicked.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was wicked. Like they
Yeah. Well,
they were proud of these actions. They were proud of the allegations, the image. They love to be looked at like demons for some reason, and I struggle to fathom that.
mm,
Like, is it something about like hip hop that's just sheerly demonic? Like, I know it's possible to make positive music, but it's always the evil that sells the hardest, and it's sad because even though that
you
evil
got that
sells the
right.
most, these rappers ultimately trick themselves out of their greatness, which is why Lil
Right.
Durk was trying his hardest to go back, right some of his wrongs, try to mend some of the tension in the Chicagoland streets before he ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting indicted.
Mm,
Well, Lil Durk also got a key to the city of Chicago. The mayor was kind of speaking
mm-hmm.
on his behalf. They were asking him
Yep.
questions about it, and the mayor was saying, well, he didn't really want to, speak on it too much, and he's going to let the system take care of it because he can't say whether he's guilty or innocent. And so um,
Right. Well,
I
of
don't
course he's gonna say that
understand.
because didn't Little Dirk give him 15 grand for a campaign contribution? And I think the question came up is whether or not Mayor Brandon is going to give that money back. So
Well,
that's a
if
question
he
that's
get
lingering
indicted,
out there.
but if he
And the
get
mayor
indicted,
said
do
no.
he have
That's the
to get the
crazy
money back?
part.
If he get indicted, do you
Uh,
think he gonna get the money back?
I don't know. I have no
I mean,
idea.
I can't even
And it
say he could at that point because they're going to
right.
try to say that those funds were connected to a criminal enterprise, and ultimately those funds will be seized like the rest of
Ooh,
his assets.
mm,
Hmm.
that's a point.
Well, let's read something that our Penelope is saying in the chat. She said, "The streets be talking, drill music is snitching, and King Von has a whole song about unaliving unaliving somebody, and he was a menace." She said Lil Durk was a podcast where a former gang member was begging Dirk to let that drill ish go. He had tears in his eyes, but you can tell it wasn't reaching Dirk, or he had already done it. Now Dirk has what, 6 kids by 5 baby mamas, so he has no business putting his livelihood in jeopardy, because at this point, if he go down for all of this, then his baby mamas are not going to be benefiting from his records, and they're going to have to raise those kids along, and those kids are not going to have their father. So you creating a whole new generation of possibly, and I'm not saying that they are going to be, but possibly, if he got a son. I know he had a son, but you're giving him the wrong message on family life. And so I just think it's a shame, that these people are not thinking, especially, and I know he's young, but you were young, but you got 6 kids. And so when you become a father, that's a whole total different ball game. You have to set an example, and I understand he was trying to get himself on the right track, and but he just got caught up. And I'm like you. I don't understand why you would jeopardize your livelihood for some credits, because that's basically what it is, right, Ron? They're just trying to get street credits, to say I did this and I did that. And is it really that serious? Is it
No, it's
actually
not.
that serious to get a street credit saying that you unalive somebody?
Yeah, but it's a wholehearted trick because these cats have been on the streets most of their entire lives, and they've worked hard to get to where they got. So I don't understand why you would let somebody put that bug in your ear and tell you not real because you didn't go finesse yourself out of your greatness. It makes absolutely no sense. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so maybe they need to separate themselves from, yeah, and I hate to say it, like I hate to really say it, but separate yourself from where you come from, because it seems to me like that has a lot to do with it. So you make it to this level of success, but you still hanging around folks that are not on your level. You know what I mean? You still hanging around gang banging, you still hanging around the drug scene and all of that foolishness. And so you get sucked into that. You I mean not sucked into it, but you never really leave it to
Right.
make yourself a better person, to live a better life, because you choose to stay where you come from. And sometimes maybe you just got to get out the hood, and
Well,
you could do for the hood without being so weaved into the gang activity, weaved into the drug scene. So maybe you just need to just leave that alone and go somewhere else, and still, take care of your neighborhood, pour some money into your neighborhood or whatever, and help some folks, but not to be like weaved into that kind of life.
well,
Yeah,
a lot
see,
of
I
times,
agree, but that is the trap of drill music because what keeps you popping as a drill artist is the crimes that you've committed. The higher your involvement is in the streets, the more, I guess, the public or the people who are actually indulging in this form of media are going
mhm.
to accept you. So if Little Durk does something that makes him look weak in the streets, it's going to reflect in his career. And that's why another reason I say drill music is a vicious cycle. It's going to get you paid, yes, but it's always going to keep you where you started at square one in some way. You may have moved, you may have took like 300 steps forward, but you left your wallet on step one. So now you got to go all the way back to step one. And that's where you get messed up.
So do you think it's like some of the responsibility then lies with the record companies, because the record companies are paying you for this type of music? And are they saying, well, if you don't give us this type of music, you won't get paid? So does some of the responsibility fall at the feet of the record company?
Well, they did implicate them, and I feel like yes, it because a lot of times the record company are the ones who start these beefs so that they can make money. Because, like Ryan said,
Hmm.
you know, violence and confusion and all that mess, it sells. But guys, let's take a short break, and I'm gonna take a little quick commercial break. And of course, we got to do our promos for in the morning because we haven't set everything up for the evening yet. But let's take a little break and do a quick commercial, and then we'll come back.
All right.
If your locks ain't right and your twist is on limp, you know. Get over to Keisha Studio. Specialized in locks, natural hair, and extensions. When your hair needs that special attention, make Keisha Studios your next decision. Located 3964 Goodman Road E, Suite 122 in South Haven, Mississippi. Call 901-650-9487 for your appointment at Keisha Studios. You know. Ain't nothing wrong with getting your bunny on with Mac Man Morning Show very own Mr. Lee. When I was a kid, Mama looked at you before you got in the stove. She looked, I don't want no You don't put your hands on. You don't ask for We ain't eating We wait till we get home. But kids now, it's like, look, you know what you do? He got a note saying that he's allergic to peanut butter, he's allergic to jelly, he's allergic to bread, he got gluten free, he gave me this, he gave me that, and then he got a note saying he got DDT, ADT, or Remy, or whatever. He can stand on tables, he can do whatever he want to do. What kind of is that? gonna have a good time, yeah.
Okay, we're back. And so I promise you guys, we are gonna have some evening videos. I know that's our morning show promo. But that's what we have for right now. And so that's what we're gonna use. I was gonna say before Yvonne and Ryan finish with their conversation, I wanted to say I I I just don't understand. I mean, like when you get in a certain place, like Yvonne was saying, when you get in a certain place of life, sometimes you have to leave your neighborhood, you have to leave your friends. And I understand that Little Dirk was trying to help his friend now, but his friend had a lot of problems. And even though he was trying to do the right thing, his friend is no longer here. And that's one thing that I don't think that these rappers are understanding. Not only should you leave the neighborhood and go on with your career, but you have to leave some of your friends behind too, because guess what? You may not be here. And a lot of these young rappers don't even, if they feel like if they make it to 25 or 30, that's good enough for them. And how crazy is it for them to not be here after 30 years of life? I can't fathom not aspiring to be here only 30 years. And so when I was coming up, and Yvonne can attest to this, we had rappers also, but they wasn't taking each other out like this. The rappers was just rapping about their lives and rapping, whatever songs that they wrote up. Some of them was about their life, and some of them was just songs that was in their heads. But they wasn't doing all of this unaliving each other. Yeah, it was competition, but it wasn't like I'm gonna do something to you and then make a song out of it. Now, when gangster rap came on the scene, I think, and Yvonne, I don't know if you agree with me or not, and even you, Ryan, I don't know if gangster rap kind of started all of this rivalry with the rappers, but it certainly didn't help any. And I noticed when the gangster rap came on the scene, that's when everything started going in awry. And so I'll let you
Mhm.
guys go ahead and finish. And Yvonne, if you can, if you agree with that or if you have an objection to it, let me know if I'm wrong about it.
Yeah, I think it did kind of start with the gangster rapping, with all the violence, because you could tell if you go back and listen to when rap first started being popular, there were very good, like, positive messages coming out of that genre. And then it escalated, and then it started getting more violent, more very, very derogatory towards women and things like that. But I really believe in my heart that the record companies, like I was saying before, they have a lot to do with it, because I think they're telling these young kids that, well, the record is not going to sell if you don't, be vulgar and talk about killing people, and yeah, go out and rob somebody, and then you can rap about this and you can make a whole lot of money. So I think the record company has a lot of responsibility for why we're here with this genre. They're giving these kids all this money. They're telling them they can make all this money, but you got to sing about this and you got to do this and you got to live in that lifestyle, because you can only rap about what you know, and blah 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 blah. So I think the record companies have a lot to do with why we're here with this young man. And then another thing is, okay, so you can look at Yellow Pain. So what is the difference between Yellow Pain and Little Durk? Why hasn't Yellow Pain went that way? So I mean, what record company is he working with, opposed to the record company this young man is working with? So I
Yeah.
mean, you, I, it's almost mind boggling, because you just don't know when you got certain rappers now like Yellow Pain speaking about positive things, and then you got this young man here uh, basically telling somebody, yeah, I got the address, go get them, and nonsense like that. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
see
I
what I
think
was
Yellow
about to
Pain was
say.
more into politics. I think the difference is where your focus is,
Hmm.
and he's
Hmm.
focused on trying to, yeah, he's focused on trying to uplift his community. He's focused on trying to make a change with his community. So that's what make the difference. And another thing, Lil Durk started on social media, so he really didn't need these. I mean, Ryan, do you feel like he needed the record label just to make it higher or to make more money? Or do you feel like because Yellow Pain started on social media too, like he's getting his word out as well? So do you feel like that Lil Durk was just trying to, come up and use Sony as a step up so that he can become more famous and make more money? Of course, we all, all the rappers want to make money. I know that's their ultimate goal is to make money and to get the cars and the women and the life, everything that they all the glamour that they see on TV or what they think is glamorous. And in actuality, most of them are renting most of that stuff, including the jewelry. But when you're young and impressionable, they are.
They
When we
rent. They rented.
they
They
rent it,
renting
yeah,
all their jewelry and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, rent a necklace and rent a ring and rent a Rolex. But I'm gonna get on TV and say, "Hey, this my stuff." You know what I mean? But to a young person that's impressionable, it's very easy to impress young people. And we don't, and most times when you're a rapper, you don't just start being a rapper. At the age of 18 or 19 or whatever. That's something that starts with when you're a little kid, and it's kind of instilled into your psyche. And so, he probably sat around and watched all these people, of what he thought was fame and fortune. And, a lot of times they just try to mimic each other. But do you agree with that, Ryan? Or what do you feel like? Do you feel like he could have made it off of social media? Because social media is a great medium now where anybody can make it, whether they're talented or not. It depends on the
Uh,
show.
Honestly, the thing about Little Durk and many more of these Chicago rappers is I don't really think it has entirely too much to do with the record company. A lot of these guys are quite literally just products of their environment, and a lot of them were actually independent for a good while. So it's more or less about them pleasing their fans. You know what I mean? They're just doing what sells. They know that the vast majority of the world are highly intrigued with their lifestyle, so they openly talk about it. And the record labels see this, so yes, they do capitalize on it, but I don't think they're necessarily pushing that narrative on purpose. They're just in it because of the money, the greed. They see it selling. They don't care if it's evil or not. It's selling, so okay, let them go wild. But in reality, it's really just these rappers just being stuck and just stuck in the past. They're just talking about everything that they've done up until now, and
Mhm.
it makes it no better because the world just they fantasize about it. Like they love how raw the music is. They love how critical the lifestyle is, and I feel like that's because they don't have to live it themselves. Like it allows
Mhm.
people who aren't actually going through these trials and tribulations to step foot into the world and kind of get a feeling of how it is. And in a way, it
Mhm.
also inspires the good to do bad, which is it's crazy to me, but that's just how it
Right.
is. So I don't think it's the record labels really
Mhm.
pushing this agenda. It's the rappers themselves. And the record labels are just okay with it because they know this stuff is going to sell. Like, there are people in Africa who are claiming the street gang of the Black Disciples because that's where Chief Keef and Little Durk come from, and King Von, that's where they come from. You got people in Africa trying to gang bang and talk Chicago politics, all simply off of influence. Like, the gang culture is, sad to say, one of the most influential cultures nearly on the planet at this point. You got
And
gang
I
members everywhere. You got cartel runners everywhere. Negativity, it just sells. It's sad to say, but it sells, and it's a culture of its own.
Well, you're educating me because I didn't realize gangs were still that prevalent. They used to be very prevalent in 19 in the 80s, right? And I thought they kind of busted all of that up. And you had like little fractions or factions of gang members, but I just didn't think that it was, this big of a deal. But I'm in Texas, and so they kind of keep our gang members kind of low. You know, like you said, the biggest gang member we probably have at this point is the cartel. They're yeah, the cartel is probably our biggest gang member because when they busted them up in the 80s and 90s, like our police force have gang units, and that's what they do. They go around looking for gang members. And I'm not saying that we don't have any, but it's nothing like it was in the 80s. And Yvonne can attest to this, especially like in California. You had the wrong color on and you were in California, whether you were affiliated with
Hmm.
the city or not. You better, when you get ready to go to California, you better figure out what you need to wear so you can make sure you make it back home. And that's how serious it
Hmm.
was. And
Yeah, you
so
couldn't wear
I just didn't.
red or blue.
Right, red or blue. And so, it was a lot of innocent people, became unalive because they were just, uneducated to the fact of gangs. And the gang members at that time, they just didn't care. And like you said, Ron, they was just wreaking havoc. And it was all about turf and I'm tough and, street credit. And so I just didn't really realize that, it was still going on this hard. I thought, maybe that, they kind of let up on that. But Lil Durk is getting sued. Okay, so FBG Duck's
Hmm.
mom is suing him, and so
Mm.
and yeah, so I want to play this video, and then we can talk about it on the other side. Actually, it's a couple videos, just to talk about Lil Durk, and then we'll talk about him getting sued, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Stand by.
All right.
Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk has now been charged in a superseding federal grand jury indictment. It alleges that he conspired with others to murder a rival rapper near the Beverly Center 2 years ago. Federal prosecutors say this indictment adds 2 felony charges against the rapper, whose real name is Dirk Banks. 5 other defendants who are in federal custody are also charged. Banks is accused of ordering the murder, but the botched shooting instead killed the rapper's relative. Banks is being held in Miami until his transfer to L.A. for arraignment. If convicted, all 6 defendants face a maximum sentence of life in prison.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC. In other news tonight, a follow-up on a murder that made major headlines 4 years ago. The mother of the rapper killed that day in the Gold Coast is suing another rapper. She claims that he and his record labels profited from the 2020 shooting. NBC5's Chela Vacheski has the story.
It is one of Chicago's most exclusive retail corridors, Oak Street, just off Michigan Avenue. But in August of 2020, Oak Street became a murder scene when Carlton Weekly, also known by his rap name FGB Duck, was gunned down while shopping for a birthday gift for his son.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him.
Now his family is coming forward with a lawsuit, trying to tie his murder to another Chicago rapper, Dirk Banks, who goes by the name Lil Durk.
Our complaint law lays out that a $100,000 bounty was placed on the life of FBG Duck to have him killed.
A bounty that was the result of a rivalry between 2 violent South Side gangs, one of them called the O Block. 6 O Block gang members were convicted of Weekly's death in January.
These individuals murdered Mr. Weekly as part of their effort to maintain or increase their position in the O Block.
The lawsuit alleges Dirk's OTF label and other music companies affiliated with it profited from the gang war, fueled by social media and drill rap music.
The threatening, the killing, and then the celebration of the killing and the continued killing, all on the name of profit.
Attorneys say they want to send a message to the record industry.
As a company, when you realize that you have a dangerous product and you're pushing that dangerous product out to the public, you have a responsibility to ensure that that dangerous product does not injure or hurt or harm anyone.
We reached out to the record companies involved, including the Universal Music Group, but have yet to receive a response. The lawsuit also alleges misconduct by the city of Chicago, claiming it took more than 17 minutes for Weekly to receive medical attention. On Oak Street, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC5 News.
I think we lost Ryan. So did they say, did they say that they were, the family was also suing the record company?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well, they should. They should include
Yeah.
the record company because I think at some point the record company needs to take some accountability for this. I really think they should take some kind of accountability for this because if you're dangling dollar signs in front of a young person and you know what they're out there doing and you're giving them money to put out this wretched music that is costing people their lives and things like that, they should take some accountability for that.
Okay, well,
So,
let's go ahead and thank Chicago 7 and NBC 5 for those news clips. And you're absolutely right, Yvonne. You heard what they said. They said that they were encouraging it and profiting off of
mm-hmm.
it. Just like Brian said, they're encouraging this. And so
They really are.
that's why I said, is he, is he culpable of this crime by himself? Or should the record company be implicated in this? And the city of Chicago, did you hear what they said? They said they took too long to get him medical attention, and so it looked like a lot of people finna be implicated in this with this lawsuit that his mom is going through with. And didn't that just break your heart to see his mother? Um,
Mm-hmm.
did you see the
Mm-hmm.
tears? Did you see his mom? And that's what I don't think they understand, that these people have families. They have a mother, they have a father, they have kids, they have, friends and cousins, and they got a whole community that's going to have to mourn them because they're no longer here. And trust me, as a parent, and your child is gone before the age of 30, that's a hard pill to
Yeah.
swallow. Because see, as a
Yeah.
parent, you think that you're gonna, and I'm not saying that we have a crystal ball, but in the back of every parent's mind, your kids is gonna outlive you, not you outlive your kid. And so that's a very
Mm.
hard pill to swallow, to watch your baby go in the ground and you're still here. Can I get an amen, Yvonne?
Amen. Yes, you're absolutely right about that. That is very heartbreaking. And so when foolishness like this happens over foolishness, a lot of people are affected by that, and you need to think about that. So now you got this family over here, the family that's suing. So the young man that got on the live. So you got that family over there. Now you got little Dirk with 6 kids, right? So that's 6 lives right there affected by this nonsense. So a lot of people get affected by this, and it's all because of money. Come on, it doesn't make sense.
It seems like it's about money. Like he said, credits and money. Is that
Really?
enough?
Yeah,
Is that enough not to be here? Good God Almighty. Brian, what you got to
I
say
know.
about it?
Man, yeah, like I said, they always say money is the root of all evil, man. People will do anything for a dollar bill. But in FBG Duck's case, me personally, I cannot say that they can blame Little Durk for FBG Duck. That was entirely all King Von. Now, King Von might
Mm,
have been Little Durk's artist, but most people don't know that King Von was not signed to Little Durk's record label OTF. They were just really close. King Von
mm,
he saw his own potential and decided to sign his own independent deal. Yet he stayed in close ties with the OTF 300 record label. So in a way, anything that King Von does also reflects on Little Durk because Little Durk introduced the world to King Von. So
mm.
I really
So
don't
guilt
think
by
that they can.
association.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's exactly what it is in FBG Duck's case.
Yeah, guilt by association. Wow. Mm,
And it's tragic because the 5 people, there were 6 people that King Von allegedly hired to unalive FBG Duck. They've all been indicted and they were all facing their time in prison. And King Von would have been right there with them had he not have died in a whole unrelated altercation in another city. He would have been right there with them.
all right, so that altercation that unalived him had nothing to do with this that's going
Absolutely
on. That
nothing.
was a whole totally separate thing.
Yep.
So this guy, this King Von guy, seemed to have had some bad karma. It looked like something bad was following him through his life. It seemed like to me. So I
Yeah,
mean, you get
he had a
unalive in
lot
a
of problems,
totally
son.
separate, huh?
He had a lot of problems when him and Lil Durk got together. That's why Lil Durk was, kicking it with him,
Was
trying to
trying to
change
help
him,
him.
trying to help him
Yeah,
out because he had a lot of financial and legal problems and some police problems, that he was trying to work through. And so that's why come Dirk, that's why they were friends and he was trying to hang in there with him and trying to, change his trajectory. But sometimes karma catch up with you when you done did too much.
Yeah, most definitely. King Von, it's like he he was in love with the lifestyle he lived. He couldn't let it go. He brought those same negative virtues to his riches, and it caused him to lose everything, including his life. And it's like no matter how hard Little Dirk tried to keep King Von on the right path, at the end of the day, King Von was going to do King Von. That was the type of person he was. He was headstrong about his morals. Nobody could tell him anything. He was surrounded by yes men. And on top of that, half of the people that knew King Von were scared of him. So they couldn't tell King Von anything. King Von was the type to willingly get into a shootout in the middle of a mall or something and be and enjoy every second of it. Like I'd hate to paint this image on the King Von because I didn't know him personally, but this is how he paints himself. So how else could the public eye really look at him when he's enjoying every moment of the chaos that he's putting on to humanity? He's enjoying every moment of it.
Well, what about Lil Durk, Ryan? How do he carry himself?
Lil Durk, he used to really be heavily in the streets, but he managed to actually turn his life around for the greater good. He stopped getting into a bunch of trouble. He was never really in a lot of trouble, just like compared to like Chief Keef, who was always in and out of jail coming up. But Lil Durkey's had his fair share of trials and tribulations, but he managed to come on top. And I personally feel, had Little Durk just left King Von alone, he probably wouldn't have gotten as big as a rapper like in his career, but he still would have been successful. And he also would not have been dragged back into the street nonsense. King Von is the reason all of this is happening right now. He finessed himself out of the streets and out the game. He finessed five other people who he called his friends out of their lives. They'll probably never see their kids again. And now Lil Durk is facing some charges on King Von's behalf just because he didn't want to look weak in front of the rest of the BDs. But ultimately, I feel like if Lil Durk if he was just strong minded enough to just let people say whatever, because people love to talk and they gonna talk what they know, man. You just gotta let them talk sometime, because at the end of the day, that man had more to lose than anybody in the world that was telling him to slide for Vine. He had more to lose than all of those folks. And he let them put that bug in his ear and it made him crash.
yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting how this is gonna turn out, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. My hope is that he has learned through all of this, and the other, the younger rappers that are coming up is really paying attention to this. That yeah, you go ahead and be a rapper, make your money, but you guys sometimes you just gotta separate yourself from people who got bad juju on them, bad energy, and you just cannot help everybody. You want to help your buddy out, but sometimes you just cannot help everybody. You just got to separate yourself from some folks. So I just wish him the best.
Well, isn't it a little bit too late because the feds got a charge on him now with the murder for hire?
Yeah, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
well, they got a
it's
charge on him, but that don't mean he's gonna be convicted of it, right? It's alleged, right? He's
yeah,
not
it's
convicted yet.
alleged, but like said, in these cases, they kind of already have the evidence stacked against them, so it's alleged only because it has to be stated as such. But in reality, the case has been built, gone over, and they caught him. They caught this man trying to flee the country. Little Dirk brought 3 different plane tickets leaving the United States and didn't get on either one of them. When he actually pulled up to an airport, he got arrested.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he was trying to leave the country?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
trying to
trying to leave
flee.
the country. He had 3 different countries, 3 different tickets to 3 different countries that he was trying to go to, and Switzerland was one of them. And the countries that he was
Oh.
trying to go to, they were going to extradite him back, so he didn't do his homework that well. You have to go to. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my God. You can at least research that stuff to make sure that you're going to the right country that's not going to send your tail back. Come on,
Exactly.
man.
Exactly, because Switzerland, Switzerland gonna turn you right back around right at the airport if you just so happen to make it to Switzerland. Probably when you connecting flights, from Canada or wherever I don't know how it go, but probably the next country over is probably gonna extradite you back to the United States. You're not gonna make
Oh
it.
my God.
That's if you make it that
You ain't
far.
going to make it.
No,
Mm,
you're not
mm,
gonna
mm,
make it. No,
mm.
no, no. If you're gonna do something, you got to go where Russell Simmons is located. And
And
yeah,
he's in where? Bali? Bali?
in
Bali.
Bali. He's in
Yeah.
Bali. So you have to go somewhere like that where they don't have a United States extradition. And I'm not trying to tell
Hmm.
anybody how to, be a criminal or anything, but do your research. I'm just
Okay.
saying. Don't be a dumb criminal. If you're gonna be one, my whole thing is whatever you're gonna be, go be all you can be. And if your criminal life is what it is, hell, make the best out of it. Make it count. That's all I say.
Literally,
And
my
that's
message for the kids, my message for the kids specifically, because these are the ones that's really out here dying nowadays. Do not
Mhm.
try to imitate your favorite rapper. Imitate yourself. Be
Right.
yourself at the end of the day. You can do anything that
Mhm.
you want to do in this life. You don't have to live a life of crime because you see your favorite rapper got rich off a life of crime. It doesn't have to be that. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need zoologists,
Plumbers and
astronomers,
electricians.
everything,
Yeah.
electricians, HVAC,
Yeah.
construction. We need a plethora of things that
say,
pay
look at here,
good.
we're gonna need everything, Ryan, because
Man, literally everything.
I'm not trying to make this political, but it is a little political. We finna have a lot of job openings in just a minute, okay? So we're gonna need a lot of we finna have a
Good
lot of
Lord.
job openings.
You,
America is finna
yeah,
get ready
you,
to hire. Huh? What you say?
yeah, yeah. The United States is about to have a really big job fair.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
have a huge job fair. And so,
Yeah.
we're gonna need janitors. If you don't want to be a doctor or lawyer, we're gonna need janitors, hotel workers, nannies, orange pickers, or lemon pickers. We're gonna have all kind of jobs for anybody. If whatever level you want, whatever level you want, the United States is gonna have a job for you, based on our new president. And all kidding aside, it's true. It's funny, but it's true. We're getting ready to have a big old job fair. And so anybody that want a job in America, you can have 2 or 3 jobs if you want to, because the job market is going to be open. Yvonne, please mute. And I'm just, I'm being real about it, Ron. I'm not trying to be your funny. Your mom just laughing. I mean, Yvonne is just laughing, but I'm serious when I say that the United States are going to have plenty of jobs, and so you don't have to go down the life of crime. You just don't have to do that. And even if all of the deportation wasn't getting ready to happen, we have enough jobs in the United States so that everybody can have one. And even if you don't want a job, you can be an entrepreneur. Social media makes it so easy where you can make money, just like Ryan said, just being yourself,
Mhm.
finding your gift, using the gift
Yeah,
that
that's
God
true.
gave you, because everybody has a gift. Everybody does. And all it takes is just a little work. God give you all the tools and skills you need. All you got to do is sharpen them up and put them to use. So, Ryan, this is what I want to ask you, as we get ready to wrap this up. Um, what do you feel that we can do as a community or as concerned citizens or even some of our politicians? What can we do to try to mitigate this and to try to steer people in the right direction and to turn them around? What do
It
you
all
think the answer
starts.
is as far as the young people?
That's exactly what I was about to say. The young people. It all starts with inspiring the youth. We have to show the younger crowd that it's more to life than bang bang shoot 'em up and telling on yourself in music. Simple as that. Like it's so many other things that they could be shown and taught that could potentially change their whole outlook on life. But the school systems don't really have anything to offer anymore. Shoot, you drive around and look at the community centers. All the rims are off the basketball courts, so there's no real recreational centers around for real. The youth are out here bored, listening to this negative music, and thinking, man, okay, I know I can get paid probably 19 an hour working a security job or something. But if I sell fentanyl or something or go do something bad to somebody and rap about it, maybe I can get the money to change the life of my family. And that's not the only route. If anything, that's not even a favorable route because most of these rappers who are out here trying to do that, less than 1% of them actually make it. We got about 1,000 kids out here trying to rap about nothing, about negativity, and they're all losing their lives in the process of getting to their actual goals that they've called themselves setting for themselves. So it's like we need to find more things to positively inspire the youth to take up their time. We need more mentors out here to teach these kids right from wrong because a lot of times they're not learning anything in their household and they're damn sure not learning anything in school. So it's just all about doing something with our youth, doing something positive with them, showing them a different route, showing them that you can be something great without having to make major, major, major sacrifices and choices that you're going to ultimately regret in your life. That's all we got to do. We just got to do something with the youth. Just show them a different way. Because at how it's going
Mm-hmm.
right now, we already nearly lost a generation, another generation to the streets. Now we looking at their kids doing the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta just find something to show them, like the forex market. Show them ways of making money where you don't gotta break your back and kill yourself at work or lose your life in the streets. That's just all we gotta
Right.
do. Because a lot of these kids feel like there's no way out of these certain situations that they've been placed in,
Mm-hmm.
situations that are wholeheartedly out of their control. So they're doing what they see works. And what they see is working ain't really working for anybody outside of a select few.
Mm-hmm.
I.e.
That's
record
true.
companies.
Hmm.
The people that's trying to,
Okay.
yeah, the people that already have money. So it sounds like to me, this is something that the community need to come together with. Sound like the community need to start holding these politicians' feet to the fire, not feet, but they need to hold these politician feet to the fire. If I'm gonna put you in office, then yeah, put me a boys and girls club down here in my neighborhood. Put me a nice park so the babies can have something to play on, a nice playground. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Give me some community development so that I can give vocational training for my high school students, for the ones that don't want to enter college. And so we're going to have to,
Right.
as a community, we're going to have to come up with some ideals and hold these politician feet to the fire and make them put things in the neighborhood that can uplift the neighborhood. Because you're absolutely right. If you see nothing in your neighborhood but destruction, old buildings, everything is tore down, trash is everywhere, people hanging out all on the streets doing this and that and the other, and you don't see anything positive. What is there positive to look forward to? It's like you have to struggle and fight and try to come out of this, on your own. And that's really not what is, the other side don't have to think about that. The Caucasian people don't have to think about if their kids are going to be successful. It's already slated for their kids to be successful. They got everything that their kids have everything in their neighborhoods that they need. And for whatever reason, the black communities can't get that done for whatever reason. It used to be that they used, you had old politicians that used to put things in the neighborhoods. I'm back in my hometown now, and they just put a splash park in our neighborhood, and that's because we have a black community city city councilman, and he's been working hard and tirelessly for years to try to make the city put different things in the black community, and he finally was successful. He finally got in office, and he finally was successful. And I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this in there. He's actually my ex-husband, and I'm really proud of him because he really is getting things moving and shaking in the black
Hmm.
community, and that's just something that you're gonna need. And he's been working on this for over a decade, so it's not gonna happen overnight. And and that's another thing. We have to put people in office that's concerned about the community, not put somebody in office because that's just because they want to be in office, or because they're worried, they want the funds and the fame and the fortune that comes with that. Because if you'll notice, most politicians go in office very poor, and they come out and their pockets be filled up. I'm sorry, but they do. A
Hmm.
lot of their pockets be real full when they come out of office. And so how did their pockets get full? Because they allow lobbyists, and they're not looking out for your interests. They're looking out for their own interests. And it's
Hmm.
very, very prevalent in Congress. Most Congress members go in there, poor as we are, but when they come out, they're millionaires. Make that make sense
Hmm.
to me when you're supposed to. But meanwhile, your neighborhood still look the same as it did when you were a kid. Now, make that make sense.
Hmm.
And
It
in
doesn't
most
make sense.
Right, and then in most black neighborhoods, you do good to find one good grocery store that sell you old, outdated food. That's not even good quality, but they're charging you quality prices. you know. And then
Hmm.
you'll have a bunch of fast food places, liquor stores, and churches, and that's what the black community consists of. So we got to change that, guys. We got to get that
Yeah,
changed. We need to get some of these liquor stores
absolutely.
out of our
I
communities.
was just
We
about
need,
to say these liquor stores, man. There's one on
yeah,
every
they're
corner.
on every corner.
Liquor
Yeah,
stores and
that's the time to
churches.
go. Need to
And
bring
we need to
more.
Yeah.
get some of these churches out of our communities, because these churches are doing nothing, absolutely
Oh, they ain't
nothing
doing
for.
nothing.
No,
Man, I
they're
They ain't doing
pimping
swear.
God
nothing.
for their. In my opinion, these preachers are pimping God for their own personal use, and they're using the
Hmm.
congregation to do it. And so the majority of the congregation are women, and they already know it's a bunch of single mothers that that feel like. And I'm not saying that nobody needs Jesus and nobody don't need religion, but you can get in contact with God your own self. And if you go to your
Yes.
church and your church can't help you, then you don't need to be at that church. I'm not saying that they need to pay your bills every month, but everybody fall on hard times. So if I go to my pastor and say, Pastor, I ain't got no grocery money this week, since I done contributed to this building fund where this building ain't never getting fixed or nothing. I hate the building fund because it never goes towards the building. Um, the building fund is for to me, it's just a slush fund for the pastor, but I digress on that. And I'm not in every church, so I can't say that. But from the ones that I don't went to, in my opinion, the building fund is a slush fund that trickles over there to the pastor. And so it's a lot of people in the community that need help. I don't see any of these churches giving out. I don't see them having food drives. I don't see them having free
Hmm.
clothes drives. I don't see them trying to help with rental assistance or electricity assistance. I don't see them doing anything other than fattening the preacher's pockets and making sure the preachers
Right.
drive a better car than you and live in a better house than you. And so um, everybody know that black people love Jesus, and we do. You know, we love Jesus wholeheartedly. That's our whole life. But we can't allow them to use that to continue to pimp us out of our money. What
Right.
y'all got to say?
Especially if they're not doing anything for the community. So, take note from my pastor, Father Flager. That's my pastor. That's the church I go to sometimes. Take note from him because he went over there in that neighborhood and he got that neighborhood cleaned up. They have food drives, they have job fairs, they do marches. They're helping people, with their bills and things like that. So you got this white priest over here doing more than some of our black pastors that are in our neighborhoods, and make sense. Please make that make sense. I don't get that. I don't see the pastor up here on Halsted where I live doing anything for the neighborhood. You see the people go inside the church and they come out the church and they go right on home. So the thing is, it starts at the community level, right? It starts at the community level. So the politicians that we do have in place, it starts at the community level. Make these people accountable. They have to be held accountable. You cannot go sit your black tail up there in Congress for 30 years and your neighborhood is still looking the same or even worse before you went. Make it make sense. So
That
what
part.
what are you doing up there in Congress? All you
Well,
doing is collecting a paycheck and some bribes.
I say fire everybody and get some new people in is what
Uh,
I say, but I
yeah, they all
digress.
gotta go. They all gotta go. They all need to go because they're not helping the community.
And
There
guess who
is
I
no
want to
way.
replace them with? Guess who I want to replace them with?
Oh,
I want to replace them with Ryan them. I want to replace it with the young people because it's one thing about a young
yes.
person. The whole thing about it is we've had our time. Not saying that we finna go anywhere, but we done been there and done that. This is gonna be their country. This is gonna be their world. So they have to be involved because our forefathers have already fought for us. They marched in the civil rights. Martin Luther King gave his life for that. Malcolm X gave his life for that. And now it's time for Ryan them to step up and rise up. They need to get in Congress and they can do it. You have Memphis had what, two young black guys to go to Congress, and Florida had one young black guy to go to Congress. So it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is get your community together. You guys put your funds together, put your resources together, get your plan executed, and send one of Ryan or one of his friends up to Congress or to the city councilman or to wherever, because most politics are all local. So get some young people in
Mm-hmm.
the local politics level, and that way that's
Mm-hmm.
when you can start making a change. That's what I suggest.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or, they can get some of their friends together and uh I don't know, do some fundraising amongst each other to go out and help the homeless people. I mean, there are a lot of things that the young folks can do to better their neighborhoods, and maybe the guy sitting over there in the corner thinking about gang banging will see, well, oh, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can join in this group and see what it's about, and that'll deter him from going out gang banging. So yes, it
Yeah,
starts
I
on the
agree.
local
Half the
level.
battle with the youth is just a feeling of wanting to be a part of something. And if they see gang
Hmm.
culture is the only thing to be a part of, naturally that is what they're gonna flock to. It's just simply about
Hmm.
acceptance and wanting to be a part and be included in something.
Well, Ron, let me
Hmm.
just say this, sir. I never thought that I was going to be on YouTube talking about anything. I never thought I was going to be on the radio as a broadcaster because that never crossed my mind. But since somebody tapped my shoulder and pushed me into this position, I feel like, it's been a part of me. I love every bit of it. And so sometimes in life, you never know what you like because you haven't experienced it, and sometimes that's just what it takes. It may seem that the gang life and the thug life is the life, but and you're not going to be able to save everybody. So what you do is those that want to be saved, that's who you bring along with you. You leave whoever don't want to come with you behind. Don't try to kick, scream, or make them do it. But you're gonna have a few of them that want to do it. And once they see you doing what you doing, you never know who you can inspire. And that's how you make the fold bigger. That's how you grow the fold, is by showing, leading by example. Because you're right, everybody is not going to be on board at first, but if you just keep working at it and you keep trying to get the community to come together, you'll get some followers. Trust me when I tell you that. Because that's one thing people like. They like to be in a group, whether it's a gang group or a politics group or a community group. People like groups and people like recognition. And some people do want to go to work. They just don't know how to start. A lot of people don't know where to begin. And so sometimes that's when it takes somebody that's really interested or have the know-how to get started, to get everybody else started. And all it takes is one person, Ryan. It don't take a whole community. It take one person to get anything started. Look at Malcolm X and look at Martin Luther King. Those, those are two people that just started with one person, and look how they movement grew. And even with Black Lives Matter, they didn't have that many people when they started, but look what the movement grew to. So sometimes you have to grow your own movement.
Yeah, most
I
definitely.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
All right, y'all.
definitely
I
some
got to get
things that's
on
gonna
off
have
of
to
here.
change.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap up our show for tonight. I didn't want to stay on here very long, but I just wanted to introduce everybody to our evening show. Now, I apologize again, everybody, that we don't have our own little evening logo yet, but this show is going to be called the Mac Man After Dark Show. And we're going to be doing this show at least 3 times per week. Me and Ryan are dedicated to start talking about these different issues in our community. We're going to try to come up with some ideals, or of things that people can do to try and get the community together. We're going to have different guests on to share what they have, share their knowledge, because hey, knowledge is power, and you never know, who can inspire whoever. And so we intend to do this on Tuesday, Thursday, and one day on the weekend. And I'm calling the weekend either Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It just depends on what everybody's schedule will permit. But we're going to be trying to do this 3 times a week in the evening. I really want this show to grow, and I really want to bring in a lot of young people, because like I said, the young people are the future. The children are the future, and the young people are the future. Because I've had a good time. I enjoyed myself in my 20s and 30s, and I want the young people to have the same feeling and the same resources that I had. Because as we get older, the funds and the services are dwindling away, and we're going to have to fight for what we want. And so somebody have to get out and tell this message, and that's what me and Ryan intend to do. We intend to try to get as many people as we can on the platform, and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and follow us on Facebook at WKRA 92.7 on Facebook for the Mac Man Morning Show. And so this is just an extension off of it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and subscribe, or just like and share our video, because we're really trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We're at about almost 300 at this point. So me and Ryan got some work to do, and we intend to get this done. And we're going to try to
All
Most
right
grow
now.
definitely.
this channel. Yeah, we're going to try to grow this channel, and we're going to try to grow our morning channel. So you guys stay tuned. And Ron and Yvonne, do you guys have any final words before we wrap it up?
Yeah, like said, if you know anybody, any young folks that you see need a hand, just go ahead and lend them a hand, bro. Like, you never know what could happen with their lives. You could potentially take a young kid off the streets and turn them into something great. And that's just about it, man. It all starts with us, man. We can't expect the youth to just be dropped into this world and thrive despite not really even fully understanding the world that they're in. And one more message. I don't know where all our viewers are, but we're in Chicago, man. It's getting cold. It's starting to get ugly outside. If you got anything extra, any extra food, clothes, blanket, go ahead, take it outside, give it to the homeless, give it to somebody in need, man, because at the end of the day, man, we're all one step away from being homeless. A hurricane could hit, an earthquake could hit, tear your house up, lose everything in the blink of a second. So just make sure you're giving back to people who need it, man, because one day you could potentially be in their shoes.
Amen. That's it. That's what I have to say. Amen to what he said.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Well, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. And like I said, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share our channel. Try to help us get the word out that we're going to be talking about these social issues, and we're going to be focusing on young people, because that's my goal at this point. My goal is to try to focus on young people and to inspire young people, and also to feel free to support our channel at JE McCray 07 for Cash App. If you want to support our channel, you can send us a Cash App at the JE McCray 07. And we would greatly appreciate that. And if you're listening to the replay, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And you also can contribute to our Cash App also to support the channel. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you on Thursday night. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Have a great
Good
one,
night,
everybody.
everybody. Have a good one.